and using the special sealant between all the pieces and put it together for the permanent install. We're going to go out and check on Jason, and you can see that setup area. Here was a core they had on site. It's a 8-inch J-tube core made out of fire brick. We decided to go with a batch box system, which this was our mock-up, where we burned, this is how we tested the riser. You can see the octagon burn pattern right there. So that's where the riser sat. The slot meets up to this, and this is the batch box mock-up. We wrapped it in Dura blanket, put a piece of metal on top, and this is our temporary front door just for mock-up. 1/8-inch plate, and you can see how much it curved. It's got almost, curved it like a crescent, just from the heat. Warps the steel. Again, it was just for mock-up and test burning, and it worked very well. And then see our cut station over here where Jason's cutting the bricks outside due to the dust. And the concrete dust is very dangerous. If you're not sure about that, look up silicosis and it'll tell you all you need to know. This is our little chop saw, the 7 1/4 diamond wheel. And so we're just chopping all these down to quarter bricks, quarter pavers. These are the barrels we're going to use. And we've got to slice the tops off, and then we burn the paint off, and we'll see that process later. That's it. And this is our clay that we had shipped in. This is the sand that was on site, and this is where we're going to be mixing cob. All right. And we'll stand back and see all the dust this thing kicks up. Very obvious why you want to wear a respirator for this process, or have a mason on site who's good with a brick set. There's a big chisel, and you can pop them into quarters with a chisel and a hammer, but we haven't had time to play with that too much yet. All right, we'll readjust this and set for another 1/16 off. So we're going to take it down to 4 inches. Let's see how these ended up. 4 1/16. 4 1/16. Yep, should be pretty perfect. So, and the reason I'm kind of shaving off here is so I can run these upside down to do my angle cut. If you have the sharp point at the bottom of the fence, it's hard to get. It'll want to damage that point. And it'll give me more of a seam to put the sealant at the end. Because I'm going to run them upside down from the position they're in now to adjust my angle. So, all right, double check my 4-inch. All right. now I'm looking at, let's turn off the noise machine. Now I'm putting my board up against the saw. I'm looking at the gap that's between the top of the blade and the top edge of my board, which would be the inside edge when it's when it's vertical in the riser, and that's almost as wide as the gap I saw between them, which I need to split in half. It's probably a little over half, I'm going to say. So just going to adjust that a little. So make it a little more angle. I'm at 21 now. Again, these are originally cut at 22 and a half. I think I would call I'd call that half the gap. And again, I want a little gap on the outside, so actually I will take it a little more. I want to make sure there's room for sealant through most of this joint depth, but I want the panels to touch inside. So I'm going to go with that. I don't mind having a decent gap and using the sealant to make up for it, to have the whole thing bonded together. Okay, so I need to move my fence to the other side, and what we need to do is have the fence set at a depth that rips into here but doesn't take any from the center section. This doesn't take any material from here. It's going to be tough to pull off with these curves. Might need to grab Jason and have him hold the other end, because it'll just keep snapping like some of these others have. And this really isn't a problem, other than they need to keep them together, and then the LDS moldable caulk will go in between them and make it one piece again. I just don't want to have 500 of those. Because if I push down on here, it's going to snap somewhere. All right, so let's see. I want so my fence at the top of the blade, or the top of the cut depth, will be 3 and a 32nd under 5/8. So let's see. This is laying flat. We'll see where I'm measuring to. Measuring right to the bottom of this tooth. 3 and 3/32 past a half. It's 32nd under 5/8.
Yep.
On the inside of that tooth. And good, just under 1/16